A city that once felt under control is no longer safe. Something has shifted inside it, and no one is ready for what comes next. In the Pitt season 3, the silence is heavier, the tension is sharper, and every choice feels like it could break everything apart. Season 3 doesn't feel like a continuation, it feels like a warning. The story steps back into a world that is already cracked from the inside. The Pit is no longer just a place where power struggles happen quietly behind closed doors. Now, it feels exposed. Every corner seems to hide secrets, and every familiar face looks like they are carrying something dangerous they cannot control anymore. The calm that once existed between conflicts is gone, replaced by a constant sense that something big is about to explode. As the new trailer begins to unfold, the tone instantly feels different. It's darker, colder, and more uncertain. Nothing is stable anymore. The world of the Pit is shown in fragments, quick flashes of tense conversations, empty spaces that feel too quiet, and characters standing at crossroads where no choice feels safe. It is clear from the start that this season is not about small problems anymore. It is about survival, control, and consequences that cannot be undone. The characters we thought we understood are no longer the same. Time has changed them. Pressure has changed them. And whatever happened between seasons 2 and 3 has left deep marks on everyone. Some faces show guilt they are trying to hide. Others show anger that is close to breaking out. And a few seem completely lost, as if they are no longer sure what side they are even on. There is a strong feeling that trust is gone. Alliances that once held everything together now look fragile. Even a simple conversation between two characters feels loaded with hidden meaning. Nothing is direct anymore. Everything is layered. A pause in speech feels like a warning. A glance feels like a decision being made in silence. The trailer makes it clear that in this season, people are not just fighting outside enemies. They are also fighting each other, and sometimes themselves. As the tension builds, small hints begin to show that something much bigger is moving in the background. Power is shifting, control is being questioned, and there are signs that someone, or something, has been pulling strings behind the scenes for a long time. The Pit is no longer reacting to problems, it is trapped inside them. What makes this opening even more intense is the feeling that no one is truly safe anymore. Characters who once felt untouchable now look vulnerable. Even the strongest personalities seem like they are one step away from collapse. And that creates a constant pressure in every frame of the trailer, as if the entire world is holding its breath. By the end of this opening section, one thing becomes clear without needing to be said directly. Season 3 is not just another chapter, it is the moment where everything starts to fall apart, or finally reveals the truth that has been hidden all along. The trailer opens with a visual shift that immediately signals change. The world of the Pit no longer carries the same controlled energy it once had. Instead, everything feels unstable, almost like the ground beneath the characters has started to give way. The first images are not loud or explosive. They are quiet, but that silence is what makes them feel even more disturbing. Empty hallways, dim lighting, and slow camera movement create a sense that something has already gone wrong before the story even begins. There is a strong focus on atmosphere in these opening moments. The Pit is shown in a way that feels unfamiliar, even though it is still the same place. Familiar locations now look colder and more distant. Spaces that once felt like centers of power now seem abandoned or emotionally drained. It is as if the world itself is reacting to the events that happened before this season, carrying the weight of past decisions into every frame. As the trailer continues, the pacing slowly builds tension. Quick flashes replace longer shots. A door closing too hard, a hand shaking slightly before making a decision, a character standing still in a room full of noise. These small details start to form a pattern. Nothing is directly explained, but everything feels like it is pointing towards something breaking apart. The editing style itself reflects instability. Scenes do not stay long enough to feel comfortable, forcing the viewer to constantly adjust and question what they are seeing. One of the most striking parts of these opening visuals is how isolated the characters appear. Even when they are in the same space, there is a clear emotional distance between them. Conversations seem unfinished, Eye contact feels avoided. People are physically close, but emotionally far apart. This creates a strong sense that relationships inside the pit are no longer reliable. Whatever bonds existed before are now strained, and the trailer makes that distance visible without needing to explain it. The lighting also plays a major role in shaping the mood. There is a noticeable shift toward darker tones, with shadows dominating many of the scenes. Even when light is present, it often feels unnatural or harsh, highlighting tension instead of comfort. This visual choice adds to the feeling that nothing in this season is meant to feel safe. Every illuminated space feels temporary, like it could disappear at any moment. In between these atmospheric shots, there are brief glimpses of movement that suggest urgency. Characters walking quickly through corridors, someone turning back suddenly as if they are being watched, a phone vibrating on a table but no one answering it. These moments are short but meaningful. They hint that communication is breaking down and that important information is being missed or ignored. The trailer does not show full conversations, only fragments, leaving gaps that the mind naturally tries to fill with suspicion and concern. The sound design, even without focusing on dialogue, adds another layer of pressure. Background noise feels muted in some parts and overwhelming in others. Silence is used strategically, making certain moments feel heavier than they should. A simple pause between actions becomes uncomfortable, as if something is about to interrupt it at any second. This careful control of sound reinforces the idea that the world is no longer stable or predictable. As these opening visuals continue, there is a growing sense that the pit itself is changing shape. It is no longer just a setting where events happen. It feels like an active force, reacting to everything unfolding inside it. The environment seems to mirror the emotional state of the characters, fractured, tense, and uncertain. Even without showing the full story, the trailer builds a strong impression that Season 3 is operating in a completely different emotional space than before. By the end of this section, the tone has been clearly established. The trailer is not trying to comfort or explain. It is designed to unsettle, to raise questions, and to make every visual feel loaded with meaning. The world of the pit is no longer steady ground. It is something shifting beneath the surface, and everything shown so far suggests that the real collapse has not even fully begun yet. The focus shifts deeper into the people who hold the world of the pit together, and it becomes clear very quickly that none of them are the same as before. The trailer presents the characters in a way that feels heavier, as if every one of them is carrying something that cannot be easily explained. Their expressions, their posture, even the way they stand in silence suggests that time has not been kind to them. Whatever happened between the previous season and now has changed them in ways that cannot be reversed. What stands out first is how much emotional distance has grown between individuals who were once connected. Relationships that used to feel stable now look strained, almost broken. Conversations are short, often unfinished, and filled with hesitation. Even when characters are in the same space, there is a visible gap between them, as if something unspoken is sitting in the middle of every interaction. Trust no longer feels natural. It feels like something that must be tested again and again. And even then, it may not hold. Some characters appear to be struggling with guilt. It shows in subtle ways. Avoiding eye contact, pausing before speaking, or reacting too strongly to simple questions. These are not loud confessions, but quiet signs that something from the past is still weighing on them. The trailer does not explain what they did or what they saw, but it makes it clear that those moments are still shaping their present decisions. Every choice now feels influenced by something unfinished. Other characters show a different kind of change. Instead of guilt, there is anger. Not the loud, uncontrolled kind, but a controlled, simmering frustration that feels ready to break at any moment. These characters move with purpose, but there is tension in their movements. They are not calm, even when they appear composed. It feels like they are holding themselves together by force, and that control may not last for long. There are also characters who seem emotionally distant, almost disconnected from everything happening around them. They observe more than they speak. They react less, but watch everything closely. This creates an unsettling presence, as if they are processing information differently from everyone else. Their silence is not peaceful. It feels calculated, like they are waiting for something or deciding where they fit in the changing structure of the pit. The trailer also introduces subtle hints that some relationships may no longer be based on loyalty. There are moments where characters look at each other with hesitation instead of recognition. Small pauses before answering questions suggest doubt. Even simple gestures, like a nod or a handshake, feel uncertain. This shift in behavior creates a strong sense that alliances are no longer fixed. People are not just protecting themselves, they are also questioning who they can stand beside. New characters appear briefly, but their presence feels significant. They are not fully explained, but their introduction carries weight. The way others react to them suggests that they bring disruption, either intentionally or unintentionally. These new figures seem to fit into the world of the pit in ways that are not yet clear, but their impact is already visible in how existing characters respond. Some show caution, others show recognition, and a few show immediate resistance. What makes this section of the trailer especially strong is how it builds emotion without direct explanation. There are no long speeches or clear statements about what has changed. Instead, everything is shown through behavior, expression, and interaction. The audience is left to interpret the shifts in personality and relationship dynamics through small details, which makes the changes feel more real and grounded. By the end of this character-focused section, the impression is undeniable. The people at the center of the pit are no longer operating from the same emotional place. Their identities have been reshaped by unseen events, and whatever connection once held them together is now fragile. The trailer makes it clear that in Season 3, the biggest battles may not come from outside forces, but from the people who already know each other too well and trust each other too little. The tension inside the trailer shifts again, this time focusing less on individual emotions and more on the larger force pulling everything together. There is a growing sense that Season 3 is built around a central conflict that is not fully visible yet, but its presence is felt in every cut, every reaction, and every moment of silence. The story seems to be moving towards something bigger than personal disputes or broken relationships. It feels like a system is collapsing from the inside. What stands out immediately is the way authority is being questioned. There are brief but powerful moments where characters appear to challenge decisions that once would have been accepted without hesitation. Orders are no longer followed with confidence. Instead, there is doubt, hesitation, and sometimes open resistance. This shift suggests that control within the pit is no longer secure. The structure that once held everything in place is now being tested, and the results of that test are uncertain. Alongside this breakdown of authority, there are strong hints of internal power struggle. The trailer shows fragments of conversations where tone matters more than words. Some characters speak with quiet control, while others respond with frustration or subtle defiance. These interactions suggest that leadership itself may be divided. It is no longer clear who is truly in charge, or whether anyone has full control anymore. Power feels scattered, as if different forces are pulling the same system in different directions. At the same time, there are signs of an external pressure building in the background. While it is never shown directly in full detail, the reactions of the characters suggest that something outside the pit is influencing events inside it. There are moments where characters pause after receiving information, exchange looks that carry concern, or make sudden decisions without explanation. These fragments imply that something larger is moving in the background, forcing everyone inside the pit to react rather than lead. The trailer also emphasizes consequences in a very strong way. Actions that may have been taken in the past are now clearly affecting the present situation. There is a feeling that nothing exists in isolation anymore. Every decision seems to have triggered a chain reaction that is now spreading across the entire system. This creates a constant sense of pressure, as if the environment is tightening around the characters with each passing moment. One of the most important elements in this conflict is the breakdown of communication. Information is not flowing properly. Messages are delayed, misunderstood, or ignored entirely. This creates confusion and increases tension between groups. When communication fails, assumptions take over, and those assumptions often lead to conflict. The trailer shows this clearly through fragmented dialogue and interrupted conversations that never fully resolve. It is not just what is happening that matters, but what is not being said or understood. There is also a noticeable shift in how decisions are being made. Instead of careful planning or structured leadership, many choices now appear rushed or forced by circumstance. Characters act quickly, sometimes without full agreement or understanding, suggesting that the situation inside the pit is becoming harder to control. This lack of stability makes every decision feel risky, as if one wrong move could push everything further into chaos. At the same time, there are brief but important signs that not everyone is reacting in the same way. Some characters seem focused on gaining control, while others appear more concerned with survival or protection. This difference in motivation adds another layer to the central conflict. It is no longer just about opposing sides, but about different interpretations of what needs to be done to prevent complete collapse. The trailer carefully avoids giving a clear answer about what exactly is driving all of this, but it builds a strong sense that the conflict is multi-layered. It is not just one problem, it is several problems happening at once, each feeding into the other. Authority is weakening, trust is breaking, communication is failing, and outside pressure is increasing. All of these elements combine into a situation that feels unstable and unpredictable. By the end of this section, it becomes clear that Season 3 is not built around a single enemy or a simple goal. It is built around a system in distress, where every part is under strain at the same time. The trailer does not offer clarity, but instead creates a growing sense that the real challenge is not just solving a problem, but surviving the breakdown of everything that once held the pit together.